Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Electrix Moto. Today is a day that I have been waiting for. We finally got our Talarias in stock, and we are going to take this MX5 out of the box, put it together, and we're going to talk about what it looks like in the most non-biased way, because to be completely honest, I've been a Sur-Ron guy from the very beginning. This will be the first time I have ever even sat on a Talaria. So I will give you the most honest impression coming from me of what this bike is like, and hopefully we can get out and ride it. All right, so now that it's pretty much unboxed, we got it where it needs to be for right now. I want to talk about some of the specs and give you my impression of what this bike is before I actually get a chance to ride it. And then once I get a chance to truly ride the bike, I'll give you an updated idea of what I think this bike is and where it fits into the market for you, and what you can kind of expect versus, like its similar sized bikes in terms of its stature. The Light B, the E-Ride Pro SS, the 2.0, those are kind of the size of this bike. So without getting too deep into the weeds, let's just talk about the specs and what the factory says you can expect out of this bike. Now, it has a 72 volt, 40 amp hour battery with Samsung 50S cells, improved braking power, 220 by 3mm disc brakes, larger calipers, and DOT redesigned master cylinders. So the DOT redesigned master cylinders are a big deal because when it comes to stopping power, you're truly using an actual moto brake, a real, I don't really know how to say this in any other way, but it's not a mountain bike brake. You're going to be stopped. This bike is fast. It's much faster than the Sur-Ron Light B or the E-Ride Pro 2.0. So you're going to need to be able to stop, and having DOT style brakes on this bike make all the difference in the world. Now, you got adjustable air and double spring suspension tuned for optimal off-road performance is what it says. 3 riding modes, including hyper performance, so eco, sport, and hyper performance. CNC machine black foot pegs, which, to be honest with you, the CNC foot pegs really are a big deal because all of these bikes, all the foot pegs that come on them are absolute garbage. That's one of the first things you should always change on your bike the second you get it, because the last thing you want is what happened to me. You slip off of your peg and you gash your shin. They're still capable of cutting you, although they're not great at gripping. So I would definitely get an upgraded set of foot pegs. I will put some of my favorites in the description and you can take a look at them if you want. The new display. The display on this thing is kind of like an eBMX handlebar mount display. It's really clean. It's really pretty. It's nice. It's definitely ergonomic, and it's not right in the middle, so it's kind of out of the way a little bit. Then you have the straight pull CNC machine wheel hubs, reinforced spokes, regenerative braking. Now you do have a thumb switch on the right side of the handlebars next to the throttle, which you can use for regenerative braking, which is the regenerative brake lever. You also have 4 different regenerative brake levels, 1 through 4, that's on the little controller that you can change to get, more regenerative braking if you want to recharge that battery, or you're doing a lot of downhill. You got a big downhill section you're doing and you want to get a little bit of battery juice back. That's definitely a way to do it. Your headlight switch and your internal reinforced gearbox for quiet and reliable power. I have not had an e-bike yet that has had a gearbox, so the gearbox oil thing to me is definitely going to be new. It's, in my opinion, probably better than not having it, but it does add an extra step when you're talking about maintenance and things that you need to know how to do. The great part about electric motorcycles and electric dirt bikes is the lack of maintenance, and that's why I think it's great to bring people into the dirt bike community that probably otherwise would have never stepped foot in it. But I'm gonna start putting this thing together, get this taken off the skid thing that it comes on, get it put together, sit on it, touch it, feel it, and see how it feels. Okay, there you have it. The MX5 is put together. I don't really know how long that took. I was talking on my phone and in between clips. So all in all, it's a very easy process. Everything from the factory, these bikes are pretty well put together, but there are a couple of things that I want to mention before I let you go on today's video. The suspension settings. I'm going to go over that in a different video. There are plenty of people that will kind of give you tips and advice. I'm not going to do any of that. The way I like to do my suspension on the first ride is very unscientific. And we'll go over it in another video, but I just stand on the bike with it on the floor and I kind of hop on it and I see what feels good, what feels soft, what doesn't, and then I make some adjustments and I go out and ride. And then based on how the bike feels while I'm riding, I'll make more adjustments until I can really tune it and dial it in for myself. I'm 175 pounds. With my gear on, I'm probably 185. So a 185 pound rider is going to be different from a 110 pound rider, 150 pound rider. So there's usually ranges, but again, I'm not going to go too deep in the weeds, but that's how I do it. And I will show you my method. It is not scientific. It is not a proven model, but it's something that I do on all my bikes when I get them. So if you want to do it, I don't care. Do it however you want to do it. If you think I'm an idiot, that's fine too. The gear oil. Now, if you're coming from Sur-Ron like I am, and this is your first Talaria or you've never had a Talaria, the gear oil will need to be changed. And it is recommended from the factory at around 300 kilometers. Around 300 kilometers, you make the first oil change in your gearbox, and then it should be good for 3,000 kilometers. So based on information that I've gotten from Talaria and other people who do this for a living, 300 miles, once you put 300 miles on your bike, you're gonna want to change your gear oil, and then you should be good for at least 1,000 or 2,000 miles after that. But it's just one of those routine maintenance things. It doesn't take much to do. There's a couple of covers over here you got to pop off. And the way these gearboxes work is it's only 3 gears. I won't bore you with that, but it's a very simple process to do, and it's something that you're going to need to do to maintain this bike and to keep it running at peak performance. I am super pumped to get this bike out and give it a go. My son will be back from his vacation this week, and we are going to do some real-life testing between him and myself. We're going to see how fast this bike goes compared to the Sur-Ron Ultra B, compared to the MX4 or the MX3. We're going to try some different settings. We're just going to mess with this bike and see what we can get out of it from the factory with 2 different rider weights, because I think that is important. People say, well, I got the bike going 65 miles an hour or 60 miles an hour. You may not get that much depending on how big you are. You may get faster than that depending on how small you are. These bikes are rated for 32 miles an hour out of the factory. We know they go a lot faster than that, but that's just them covering their butts, not wanting to get in trouble, so you can't really blame them for that. But this bike does look so good. I'm not putting any decals on this thing. I'm not a big fan of a bunch of stickers all over my bikes. I like to strip them down and then maybe get the frame powder coated or something cool like that later on. But for right now, this bike is ready to ride. I'm going to get these tires pumped up, get this bad boy ready to rip, and then next week when the weather does not suck really bad, I'm going to get out and see what this thing actually has. So if this video was cool, you liked it, you want to come along for more videos, subscribe to the channel. I will put the link for this bike as well as our Light B bike. All the bikes we have for sale will be in the description. So if you're interested in purchasing a bike, we would love that you purchase that bike from us. We would love to have you on future videos, and we will see you on the next one.